Well, hello there. I'm Susan Radojevic, and this is Corner Office. One of my favorite sci-fi shows is Star Trek. Yes, folks, I am a Trekkie. The opening show intro, Space, the Final Frontier, to boldly go where no one has gone before, still resonates with me. What I like about the show is Gene Roddenberry's knack for weaving together storylines where the two protagonists, humans and technology, and the occasional Romulan, work together to create innovative solutions in unknown and complex situations without losing focus of their prime directive. Now, some could say that today's world, with its mix of urgency, technology, and uncertainty, has all the ingredients for a Star Trek episode. You see, we live in complex times. Unpredictable situations are challenging us to think about the world in a whole new way. The topic this month in Corner Office is decision-making in complex environments. In the first half of your show, we're going to speak with David Snowden about how his Cynefin framework, which applies complexity science principles, can help you make more informed and effective decisions. And joining the conversation in our second half of the show is Mary Boone. Mary is a leading authority on organizational communications and uses large-scale interactive meetings as a leadership intervention tool. But first up, David Snowden. I'm Susan Radojevic, and this is Corner Office. A Framework for Decision-Making is a Harvard Business Review award-winning article written by David Snowden and Mary Boone. It delves into complexity science and how it can help leaders decipher technology, globalization, and the cultural changes taking place today. And joining me right now in Corner Office is David. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hi there.
I want to start off by reading something from your award-winning article. You wrote, "We believe the time has come to broaden the traditional approach to leadership and decision-making." Why do you believe that a leader's decision-making approach needs to expand, David?
I think for several reasons, but the principal one is we've had about 20 or 30 years where leaders have assumed that things like process re-engineering and Six Sigma, i.e. fairly rigid methods based on linear assumptions of causality, would satisfy their need to make decisions. So you could do everything within a measurement-structured environment.
The foundation of the HBR article is Cynefin, the framework you developed, David. Give us an overview of it, please.
Yeah, basically, in nature you find three different types of system, and they're characterized the relationship between the system and the agents or the people who act in it. So you have highly ordered systems in which the nature of the system means that agent behavior is predictable, they're rule-based, they're certain. You have chaotic systems in which there are no rules, and then you have complex systems in which the rules and the agents change each other constantly as they interact with each other, and that's the science. So the Cynefin framework from those three physical states takes 5 human states. Order divides into 2, simple and complicated. Simple is where the system rules are self-evident, so you know what to do without thinking about it. Complicated, it's still there, but you need an analysis process or an investigatory process to decide what to do, but there is a right answer. In a chaotic environment, you just have to stabilize it fast. In a complex issue, it's very different. Here you have to run what are called safe-fail experiments. There isn't a right answer which you can know, there are just what we call emergent possibilities. So by running lots of small experiments, any of which you can afford to fail, that allows you to very quickly respond to success or failure, and therefore to take an evolutionary approach to decision-making. So the Cynefin framework, its 4 prime domains are simple, complicated, complex, chaotic.
For the moment, I'd like to stay with the complex domain and the emergent practice. You refer to the complex domain as the realm of unknown unknowns, and it is the domain to which much of contemporary business has shifted. Can you give us an example of how this is applicable to leaders in our community and their organizations?
And I think you can see examples of where some companies have already started to do it. If you look at consumer electronics, nobody knows what's going to work until it suddenly takes off. So a lot of suppliers like Sony have moved to a component-based manufacturing process. So they spend less money on market research, they produce 8 or 9 items. The ones which sell they make more of, the ones which don't sell, well, that's just a loss. And it's that shift from fail-safe design to safe-fail experimentation, and which is a key aspect of complexity, but you've got to do it in a managed, disciplined way.
So is there going to be a need to make fundamental changes to an organization's infrastructure?
I think you'll see one big change, which is bringing in a military organizational structure into industry, which is the concept of a crew. Now, crews work well in the Navy because people go on tour and they go on watch. They have highly ritualized roles and expectation of role. So you can swap the captain on the ship and the ship still functions. Now, I think we're now starting the experiments on that because you can train people across the company in 1 or 2 roles, which means you can assemble crews across the company in 2 or 3 minutes, virtually or physically.
As stated in the article, leaders tend to have skills in one domain, but to be an effective leader in the complex domain and manage emerging possibilities, skills from the other domains are also required. Mastering all 4 domains can be a bit challenging.
Part of the problem is people aren't aware there are different systems. They've been trained to believe everything is ordered. We've actually found once you make them aware of the other domains, then actually they can switch into them because people, when they manage their children, they manage them as a complex system.
I have one final question, David. What counsel would you give to leaders in our community?
Assemble a small group of people around you who complement your deficiencies, with at least a 1/3 turnover every year. You need to start to deliver your leadership as a team capability rather than as an individual. You may be the mouthpiece of it, but just like the pilot of an aircraft doesn't navigate, but they still, hold the rudder, it's that sort of principle.
This concludes our conversation with David Snowden, and I'd like to thank David for his time and sharing his innovative thinking with us in Corner Office. Posted on our site below are web links to resources we mentioned in our show. Coming up next, Mary Boone. To hear my conversation with Mary on how leaders can connect, inform, and engage their teams, please click on the link below, Decision Making in Complex Environments, Mary Boone. For Corner Office, I'm Susan Radojevic, logging out.